Many anglers spend a lot of money on flashy, expensive lures, hoping for better results on the water. These baits often feature realistic paint jobs, intricate details, and premium hardware that look incredible right out of the package. Yet time after time, they fail to produce the strikes that fishermen expect. The main reason is simple. Fish quickly become conditioned to the same repetitive presentations and familiar patterns that dominate tackle boxes everywhere. When the same colors, shapes, and actions appear repeatedly in heavily fished waters, fish learn to recognize them as non-threatening or even dangerous objects rather than genuine prey. Expensive lures are frequently over-engineered to catch the angler first with their visual appeal and marketing hype, rather than being optimized purely for triggering instinctive strikes from fish. They may swim with precision and cast beautifully, but their predictable movement and common designs make them easy for wary fish to ignore after initial exposure. In contrast, something unusual and imperfect can spark curiosity or aggression because it stands out as different from the ordinary. Many store-bought options also suffer from subtle flaws once submerged, such as unnatural vibrations, inconsistent action in varying currents, or hooks that do not penetrate effectively on short strikes. Over time, this leads to frustration, as casts after casts yield nothing more than follows or light bumps without commitment. The truth is that success often depends less on price and more on offering fish something they have not seen before, something that mimics vulnerable, injured, or fleeing bait in a way that overrides caution. This is why a simple homemade alternative can suddenly turn a slow day into an unforgettable one, filled with aggressive takes and bent rods.
Understanding these limitations of high-end commercial lures opens the door to smarter, more effective approaches that rely on creativity rather than cash. The core problem with relying heavily on expensive lures lies in how fish adapt and respond to repeated encounters in the same waters. Fish possess remarkable learning abilities when it comes to avoiding potential threats, especially in areas with consistent angling pressure. After being hooked or chased multiple times by identical baits, they begin to associate certain movements, flashes, and profiles with danger rather than food. This conditioning means that even the most realistically painted and perfectly tuned lure can lose its effectiveness over a single season as local fish populations grow more selective and hesitant. Expensive options often share similar design traits across brands because manufacturers follow proven market trends, resulting in a flood of near-identical products that fish see day after day. Their premium features, like advanced lip designs or high-quality finishes, become less relevant when the overall presentation feels too familiar or artificial under real fishing conditions. Additionally, many high-priced lures prioritize casting distance and durability for the angler's convenience. But this can come at the cost of subtle, natural action that truly imitates struggling baitfish. Fish may follow these lures out of curiosity, yet refuse to strike because something feels slightly off in the rhythm or vibration. Another overlooked factor is the sheer volume of these baits in circulation, which saturates popular fishing spots and reduces their novelty. When everyone uses the same hot color or style promoted in magazines and videos, the advantage quickly disappears. This creates a cycle where anglers keep buying newer, even more costly versions in search of an edge, only to face the same disappointing results. A far better strategy involves introducing variation and unpredictability that resets the fish's expectations and reignites their predatory instincts. By moving away from mass-produced uniformity, it becomes possible to present baits that feel fresh and irresistible again, leading to more consistent bites without constantly upgrading expensive gear. What makes a simple, homemade lure outperform many expensive commercial options is its ability to deliver unique, erratic action that closely resembles natural prey behavior under stress. Fish are hardwired to attack vulnerable targets that move irregularly, such as an injured baitfish struggling near the surface or darting unpredictably below. A basic design built from everyday materials can achieve this through its lightweight body, flexible tail, and customizable weighting that creates a lively wobble or pop without needing complex mechanics. Unlike rigid factory lures that often swim in straight, repetitive paths, the homemade version reacts more organically to line tension, current, and rod movements, producing sudden stops, dives, and side-to-side flutters that trigger aggressive responses. Its simplicity allows for quick adjustments on the spot, such as changing tail length or adding flash to match local conditions and baitfish profiles exactly. This adaptability means the lure never stays the same for long, preventing fish from becoming conditioned to it as easily as they do with store-bought staples that remain unchanged season after season. Furthermore,
The natural materials often generate softer vibrations and subtler visual cues that feel less threatening and more authentic to cautious predators. Expensive lures tend to emphasize loud rattles or bright finishes meant to attract attention from afar. But in clear or pressured waters, these features can actually spook fish rather than draw them in.
A well-crafted, homemade bait avoids this pitfall by staying understated yet highly effective at close range where most strikes occur. Its low cost encourages experimentation without fear of loss, leading to greater confidence and more time actually fishing instead of worrying about breaking the bank on snagged gear. Over repeated outings, this approach consistently yields higher catch rates because it focuses purely on what provokes strikes rather than what looks impressive on a shelf. The result is a reliable tool that keeps producing fish long after fancy alternatives have lost their magic. Creating an effective homemade lure begins with selecting the right basic materials that provide natural buoyancy and movement in the water. Start by choosing a lightweight cylindrical body, such as a wine cork or a piece of soft balsa wood, which serves as the main floating element. Shape the body carefully using a sharp knife or sandpaper to form a streamlined bullet or slightly curved profile that slices through the surface smoothly yet creates subtle disturbances. Next, prepare strong wire or small screw eyes to form secure attachment points. Drill a narrow channel straight through the center of the body from front to back, then insert the wire loop at the nose for the mainline connection and another loop near the belly for the hook. Add a small strip of lead or a tiny sinker inside the body to achieve the desired balance so the lure sits level and dives slightly when retrieved. Secure everything firmly with waterproof glue and allow it to dry completely. For the tail section, attach feathers, strands of flash material, or trimmed pieces of soft plastic to imitate a lively swimming action that pulses with each twitch of the rod tip. Coat the entire lure with a thin layer of clear epoxy resin to make it fully waterproof and durable against repeated strikes and sharp teeth. Once dry, the lure is ready for testing. This construction process is straightforward and takes less than 30 minutes once the materials are gathered, resulting in a bait that combines the best qualities of both surface poppers and subsurface swimmers. The key advantage lies in its handmade imperfection, which produces an unpredictable wobble and darting motion that commercial lures rarely match. By following these simple assembly steps, any angler can produce multiple custom lures tailored to specific fishing conditions and target species, without spending a fortune on factory versions. The finished product feels alive in the hand and delivers consistent performance cast after cast. Testing the homemade lure on the water quickly reveals why it consistently outperforms many expensive alternatives. Begin by making long casts toward likely holding areas such as weed edges, submerged structure, or areas where baitfish activity is visible. Retrieve the lure with a series of short, sharp twitches, interspersed with pauses to create an erratic, injured baitfish action that draws immediate attention. Almost instantly, the difference becomes clear as fish approach with far greater aggression than they show toward standard, store-bought options. The natural pop and subtle splash generated by the cork body mimic the desperate movements of a wounded minnow far more convincingly, triggering instinctive strikes rather than mere inspection. Hookup ratios improve dramatically because the exposed hook point and flexible tail allow better penetration even on short or glancing bites. Fish that previously followed expensive lures without committing now explode on the homemade version, often hitting it multiple times in a single retrieve. The lure's lightweight design allows it to stay in the strike zone longer, increasing the chances of a solid hookup on every cast. As the day progresses, the pattern repeats across different depths and cover types, proving the bait's versatility without any need for constant lure changes. Anglers who switch between the homemade option and high-end commercial baits notice a clear gap in productivity, with the simple version producing steady action while the costly ones sit idle. This real-world performance stems from the lure's unique combination of visual appeal, natural vibration, and unpredictable movement that fish have not yet learned to ignore. The confidence gained from watching fish hammer the bait leads to longer sessions and greater overall success rates throughout the season. The true value of this homemade lure becomes evident after repeated use across multiple fishing trips and varying conditions. Once created, it requires no further expensive replacements and continues delivering results long after premium lures lose their novelty. Its durability stands up well to rough handling, toothy predators, and snags thanks to the strong epoxy coating and secure hardware. Because the materials are inexpensive and easy to source,
Broken or lost versions can be replaced in minutes without regret or significant cost. This freedom encourages more aggressive fishing techniques and exploration of new spots that might otherwise risk damaging valuable tackle. Over time, the angler develops a deeper understanding of fish behavior by observing exactly what triggers strikes with this simple design. The lure's customizable nature allows fine-tuning of weight distribution, tail length, or color on the spot to match daily changes in water clarity, temperature, or forage availability. Such adaptability keeps the presentation fresh and prevents fish from becoming conditioned to a single pattern. Many seasoned fishermen eventually rely almost exclusively on these basic homemade baits during peak seasons because they produce larger average sizes and higher numbers of fish compared to boxes full of costly alternatives. The satisfaction of catching quality fish on something made by hand adds an extra layer of enjoyment to every outing.
In the end, the lesson is clear. Success on the water depends far more on offering something genuinely different and effective than on investing heavily in commercial products. By investing a little time in making this lure once, any angler gains a reliable, secret weapon that keeps filling the cooler and bending the rod trip after trip, proving that creativity and simplicity often defeat expensive technology when it comes to fooling fish.